lot better.
Yeah. See, the one he had before, earlier one, as you're coming into impact, you're going like this.
Well, look at his attack angle. It's 4.2.
Yeah.
Now, just a thought.
Yeah.
See if Brad will see if Brad can tip your long irons a little stiffer.
He doesn't do anybody any favors.
I think he'll do something.
Even stiffer? Well, they're an instrument.
I'd like you to try. I'd like you to see if you could borrow one from him that's like the same club that's just stiffer.
Yeah.
Just because the only thing I'm seeing is that like sometimes people will flip with shit when they're a little soft, just because it's like the lower, they almost shoot them too low and it looks like you're trying to help up. Because his attack angle is pretty much perfect with the 7-iron.
Yeah.
So I'm asking myself, what the hell's the difference? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But do you move your ball position further up with your 3?
No, I'm.
Because if you
I just haven't hit a ball in a month. I mean, I'm working on a couple of things and I'm falling in between old habits and new.
I'm totally fine with that, but what I'm getting at is that this shouldn't change. This shouldn't be so severe from up to down, even if you're not practicing. You know what I'm saying? It's your bottom. It's, you know, the attack angle's like this. It's your circle. It's your bottom.
Yeah.
So your bottom should be the same.
Well, the lower irons I'm working more on staying in front of, and really, you know, the longer irons I might be coming off a little bit.
Right. Well, why don't you take the 3-iron and make the same swing and let's see what happens? Because what I'm saying is that was, to me, a really good swing. Like, if you're going to go out and play, I think you can win tournaments doing that. You know what I'm saying, Dan?
Suck them out.
Better.
You want to get a game on some of those different clubs though for distance.
Well, that's what we're working on.
Yeah, I just want to get him to where he's locked into what he's feeling. So that was a better feel, I thought. You still could be a little more down hit with the longer iron.
Okay.
Because that one's going to be the one where when you have a good lie, you pure it. But if it's on a tight lie, it might be a little groove low or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not going to kill you. Going to be on the green either way. Good shot. Yeah, I mean that's just my 2 cents on it. I don't like a lot of times when your flex of your shaft has a lot to do with your attack angle. So it's just one of those things to kind of pay attention to. It could or could not be. It's one of those deals where when you're swinging by and if I'm free or you're in a lesson or your dad's here, if you could get a club that maybe one that's a little stiffer, a little softer, and just try it. Because what most tour players do, and Brad will say this is false, but I've traveled tour for 2 years and it's 100% true. They flight all their irons. So most tour players will play like an S3 in a long iron, or an S3 in a short iron, and an X1 in a long. So they basically make them so they're reacting.
Tight, yeah.
Just a tighter dispersion.
Right, use the same shaft across the whole set. That's the whole point of your company or whatever.
Well, right, but they're not going to do exactly what we do. But but it's going to be just a little bit more because, and the biggest thing it affects is attacking. That's why people don't get it. Like, well, it doesn't make any sense. Why doesn't anyone?
Well, they do the bend unbend profile of the shaft.
And it just seemed like your 7's going to be stiffer. So for you, sometimes just because it's stiffer or softer doesn't mean it's always going to react a certain way. It's how you react to it. Like I was just fitting that kid for a driver. All those shafts had different attack angles. He had one that was 2 up, one that was 4 down. What the hell changed?
Yeah.
So just that could be a little thing, but I think your big point of the swing stuff is whatever you're doing on the short irons, that was a much better swing and feel. Where you're covering it more or whatever it is and you're kind of trapping it.
Right.
You know, and almost like you're hitting it lower.
Yeah.
You know, don't help it up. If you want to hit it higher, get a hybrid.
I'm working on that. It was easier with the mid shorter clubs than it was the longer ones.
Yeah, the longer ones you always saw this.
Buried the 3-iron, you know,
right.
Still get it.
And that's where a stiffer club will shoot it up a little bit more, which nobody thinks, but it will. That's still so much better. I mean, look at this one. Now that one, now look what you did. Look at the attack angle there. Now that's cooking. 1.8 down is about right. Yeah. You know, the face was just a hair open. Now you could either do 2 things. You could release it more or strengthen your grip just a smidge.
Okay.
But that speed is up there.
What was the carry?
212.
212. Okay.
You're about 205 to 215 with the 3-iron in the air.
Attack angle.
Which seems shit to me. I should be carrying my 220, 225.
But that's not. But that's because
your
they
ball's
both
hitting 220.
in your mind, in your brain, in your. I mean, look here. Let's look at this.
Yeah, these are all.
These are what. This is what they do on the tour. This is your
what I
average.
used to do as a kid.
Well, dude, on a golf course, the ball's gonna go further. And when we were kids, we have no idea what really is happening. Every fucking tee box is elevated. You know, we have no idea where it's landing. The ball's releasing.
Cooking 5-irons 215 over the green when.
Right, but how much of that is roll? And how much of that is de-lofting a 5-iron? If you're going to de-loft a 5-iron and turn it into a 3, you're not hitting a 5-iron straight up to 230. You get what I'm saying? Like that 3-iron is in the air. That's beautiful. That's going to be a birdie shot. It's going to land. It's going to stop. If
So if I hit it perfect, it's flying 212, basically.
Basically is where you're at. You're basically looking, if you're flying over water to give yourself a margin, if you kind of said 205 is your number, you could easily handle that. Now, I guarantee you when you get out and you're playing like that ended up 225, like you're going to hit a 230. It just isn't going to be in the air.
Right.
And it's not going to be at level. If you're a little downhill or a little uphill, you know, that's going to make a difference. And again, I'm going to point out the biggest thing, and again, I'm the same way you were. The biggest thing that we didn't understand when we were kids is that we didn't understand that we could take a 7-iron and hit it 190, just about 200, no problem, because of the extra loft it had. Yeah. You're never going to carry the 3-iron that far, ever, like because of where the loft kicks in. Does that make sense? If you want to do that to a 3-iron and cook it, you got to get something with lower weight on the bottom. You're never going to hit those that far, ever. I could get you a Callaway that's got the bottom weight, or a Taylor with the bottom weight, and you could then cook it because it'll shoot it up. But if you cook one now and try to release it, it's going to come off low. It's going to carry actually shorter, and it's going to run. And what good does that do to you into a green?
No,
Does that make sense?
Not for a second shot. No.
But I bet you could hit a 5-iron this far. I bet you could get a 5-iron up to 212.
Probably.
But does that make sense though?
Yeah.
It's kind of where that loft of the face meets the optimum carry number.